Hi Maggie, this is Miss Oliver. Here's a video to help you with section 2.8. I found a problem that you did incorrectly on your most recent certify attempt, and so I want to make sure you know how to do these problems. So the question was 508 is 72% of what? Okay, so there's this way, which is the way the software teaches you. But if you look at Learn, they also show you how to do this, I believe, with a proportion, which is how I teach it. So I'm going to show you how to do this with a proportion, but I'll also talk about this specific equation. Your R is always your percent, your rate, and you write it as a decimal. And your B is whatever comes after the word of. And your A is whatever's left. That's the other number. So if you learn that, you'll be fine, and these will work. I'm actually starting with what the software is teaching you, and then I'll show you my method. So in this case, 72%, that's my R. Whatever comes after the word of, that's my B. And the other letter is the A. So in this case, this is A equals R times B, okay? So I just need to rewrite this as 508 equals, and my rate I'm going to write as a decimal, move that decimal 2 places to the left. Of means times, B is the number I'm looking for. So when I'm trying to solve this equation for B, B was multiplied by 0.72, so I just divide both sides by 0.72. So they cancel here and I just have B, and I'm going to pull out my calculator. When I do 508 divided by 0.72, I get 705.55555 repeating. Okay, so then I need to read the directions, and it says round your answer to 2 decimal places if necessary. So I'm going to cut it off after that second 5, but this 5 tells me that that 5 is going to change to a 6. So my answer is going to be 705.56. All right, so that's the way the book teaches it. And as long as you can identify everything correctly, you should be okay. But I'm going to show you this problem in a with my method, which is a proportion method. Similar, it's the same problem, you'll get the same answer, but my method, I just like it because you don't have to think. Once you understand what goes where, you just solve it. So again, I have 508 is 72% of what number? Okay, oops, what number? So for my method, I set up a proportion, and this one is always the percent, so I put 100 in the denominator. And then this one is in the bottom, whatever comes after the word of, and the numerator is what's left. So to set this up, I'm sorry, that's so messy. 72%, I just write that as 72 over 100. What came after the of is the what number, so that's the x, and then whatever number's left over, that goes in the top. And now I just do a cross multiplying, I call it a pretzel method because it sort of looks like a pretzel. So I'm going to do 72 times x and write that here. I'm going to do 100 times 508 and write that here. Now x is multiplied by 72, so I undo that by dividing by 72. So I do in my calculator 50800 divided by 72, round to the hundredths place, 2 decimal places, and I get the exact same answer, 705.56. So that is, this method always works, and it's up to you which method you like better. What I'll do is one more problem. I'll do it with the R equals B times A. R times B equals A. I can't ever remember. But I will do that for you. Let's see, there's no more problems here. Let me pull up a different certify. go to this one and find, okay, good. All right, the problem is what percent of 921 is 87? So in your RB equals A, this is your percent. This is what comes after the word of, and this is what's left. So your R is what percent? So that's an X. And then times your B is after the word of, so that's 921. Is equals 87 is the leftover. So X was multiplied by 921, so you undo that by dividing by 921 on both sides. So X equals 87 divided by 921 equals 0.0944625 more. I don't know what, that's all my calculator has room for. So I read my directions. It says round your answer to 2 decimal places. So that's after the 9. 0.0, and then I look at that 4 to decide what to do with the 9. And the 9, since 4 is less than 5, that 9 stays a 9, and that's my answer. But somehow that's not the right answer. Haha! I got the exact same answer you did. Let's see, what percent of 921? Oh, I know why. Because this is a percent written as a decimal. Okay, so that's the problem with this method, is that you have to think about this. I'm going to redo this with my method and show you how much easier it is. So I have to recognize that before I can round, I've got to move my decimal 2 places to the right to get that to be a percent. Okay, so let's see, I haven't done this before. Can I erase that? Is this an eraser? Hang on. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so it's going to be 9 point something. It's going to be 9.4, and then this 6 makes that 4 turn into a 5. And 9.45%. Okay, so I did exactly what you did for this one. You entered 0.909, and and that's not wrong, but you weren't able to think it through and understand that they're asking you for a percent. So it is 0.09, but what is that written as a percent? So let me with my method. Okay, what percent of 921 is 87? Okay, so I set up my fraction. I always do the 100 down here, and I start with what percent. What means X. Whatever comes after the word of goes on the bottom, and whatever's left goes on the top. Cross multiply. 921x equals 8700. Divide by 921 on both sides, so they cancel. X is, and if you do this, divided by 921, you're going to get 9.446254. That guy rounded to the nearest hundredth becomes 9.45. That 6 makes that 4 round to a 5. So then you don't have to convert it. So I feel like my method is easier, and I do think they teach it in Learn, but towards the end. I can't remember, so you might want to check into that. So please send me an email if this was telling me whether or not this was helpful, or whether you need me to do more or have any other questions. Okay, take care.